So after, where'd you go to college again?
Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues.
Is that their motto?
I mean, yeah, it is their motto. It's one of the top community colleges in the country by the Cheesecake Factory in Long Island. And to say that people are unmotivated at Nassau Community College really doesn't even begin to describe the level of human filth and trash. I mean, I'm talking about Long Island girls in like terry cloth sweatpants, in flip-flops, on their Razor phones, screaming at their boyfriends in class, lighting cigarettes right outside the window, blasting music, not doing anything. And that's where I met my friend Kenny, he had a Range Rover and he had spiky hair. And he goes, listen, I sell fucking mortgages. He was my debate partner. He goes, you're a good talker. You should just start selling mortgages. He goes, fuck this place. And I'm like, buddy, I'm ahead of you. Fuck this place. And he's like, we're going to sell mortgages. It's this great business. There's so much money out there for people trying to buy houses and everybody's getting rich and you should just hang out with rich people. So I'm like, I should hang out with rich people. And then I won't have to come out of the closet. I won't have to do anything. I'll just be rich enough where I can do what I want. And I'm going to get rich selling mortgages on Long Island. And that was my goal. And that's when I transitioned from a college kid to a 45-year-old mortgage broker with a drinking problem who had tax liens. That was where that was when I left.
That was your shift.
I left childhood. And if people listen to the old episode, I was a child actor, so it's like I really left it when I was 6 years old and I started acting. But when I really look back and I said, I left childhood, it was like I left when I left college and I just went into the world of mortgage guys in Long Island. It was like, well, now any hint of a college experience or going away or being a kid or having any regular college age stuff didn't happen. So then I went to into the mortgage world. You know?
Started making bank though, right?
I started making some decent money, especially for a kid that age. I was never
mid-20s.
Mid-20s. I bought a house. I had no money, but I still bought a house for $600,000 because I'm like fucking badass. And that was foreclosed on and taken. But what I learned, greed is just, we all have it, and people can facilitate. It was just, I bumped into so many cases of people that were just like, I want more. I deserve more. And can you help me get more? I bought a house at 22 for no goddamn reason, And it went bad because I bought it in 2006 at the height of the market, and the market literally crashed in 2007. And I stayed in the business till 2010. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah.
You were still able to sell after that?
No, but I was still able to go to an office, hungover and call people and go, hi, this is Tim Dillon with Capstar Mortgage. Are you interested in have you? And then people would be like, shut up, you people are the worst people. And I was like, all right. It was a sad office. There was 9 guys still left in the business. We're in an office. It was windowless. We're in Melville, Long Island, which is the mortgage corridor. It's where all these big banks were. But now all of these banks had gone out of business. All of the Range Rovers and Beamers were out of the parking lots. The parking lots were empty. I mean, literally, it would be like tumbleweeds blowing through. It was like life after people. It was this post-apocalyptic hellscape. And I was in this office with 9 other desperate people sitting there with leaks. It was leaking. There was fruit flies. The heat didn't work. And we were all trying to sell a product that everybody kind of needed, but nobody qualified for. And the year was 2009, and it was very depressing. And we were having sales meetings at Taco Bell because nobody had money, and people's mothers were dropping them off to work. It was insanely, It was insanely depressing. And we would just stand in the parking lot and smoke cigarettes all day and talk about, conspiracies, and people would come into the office and they would be like, I think Obama is in Al-Qaeda. And I'd be like, well, I don't know about that, but who knows, could be, and it was just this really depressing time. And it was, the saddest, sales guys are supposed to have money, confidence.
Yeah.
We had none of that left. We had been broken, beaten down and broken. And the dude who was kind of the head of the operation was this drunk named Bob. Bob had lost his license for a DWI, so we had to take turns driving him home. He was our boss.
Everyone had to just take shifts.
Yeah. And when you have to drive your, and he would fall asleep because he'd drink all day at Chili's, and then he'd fall asleep on the way home in your car, and then wake up like at a stoplight to just deliver a cryptic message. Like he'd be like, and then he'd wake up and go, "We're in big trouble. I'll tell you that much. We're in big trouble." And you'd go, "What?" And then he'd go, "No, make a left at Park Avenue." And so he would just deliver these cryptic messages. This is how that company started. You want to hear how that company started? I pitched this as a show and nobody bought it. Are they fucking nuts, Sickler?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. This is how the company started. This guy, Bob, was a high-level guy and a major mortgage lender in Long Island. He's a CFO. He sees that this company is going to kind of crumble. He sees the writing on the wall. It's like, we're in trouble. We're holding on to a lot of bad debt. This thing's just going to go. It's going left. We got to get out. So he pulls his buddy. His buddy and him, instead of evacuating the business, right? This is such a Long Island fucking thing. They go, we're going to do it the right way. We have all this know-how. We're going to put together a small company. We're going to do it the right way. So they go up to this guy's house upstate, which is partially done. They're getting sauced. They're talking about the new company they're going to have. Whoever this other guy is, I don't know, falls through a second floor that's not completely done and dies.
No.
Dies.
Come on. While they're up there talking about this shit?
Correct. Instead of abandoning the project, Bob then walks around at his funeral and goes, "I just want to let you know I'm going to open the company for your father. He was a good man. He believed in tight lending standards. We're going to open this company." The underwriting, it was,
at the
company started in death.
Yeah.
It started in death. And so I worked there for about a year and a half. Very sad Christmas party. Very, very sad.
I'll bet, yeah.
Very sad. I think we all got like a hero from a pizzeria and cut it like 6 ways and nibbled on it.
What made you get up?
What made me do it the first time?
Yeah.
I was in the mortgage business, and in 2009.
College educated?
No, dropped out of community college to do Percocet and sell subprime mortgages in Long Island, which I still believe is what I will return to. I believe stand-up is a sabbatical from my true calling, which is to work in a strip mall. But when I got into comedy, the only job I could get was in Staten Island, and it was photocopiers and selling office equipment. Sad, because when you're selling real estate or mortgages, at least somebody around you's got a lot of money, and you could look at them and be like, well, I want to be that. I want to be, my boss, this guy Tim, who had a big house and a pool. But when you telemarketing photocopiers Staten Island, everybody there is desperate, and they all have that job because it's in walking distance of their house, or they could take a bus. Many of them just had Dewey's.
What do you mean bus? Half of them are halfway houses.
Right.
Half of them live in a shelter.
Yeah.
Half of them are toothless.
Yes.
They're alcoholics.
Yeah.
Were fucking people who were toothless.
Yeah, degenerates.
Would be fucking drinking while they were fucking 5 in the morning.
Who was the better salesman?
Drinking. Listen.
Anybody can have a good day.
Hunger is hunger, bitch.
Hunger is hunger, yeah. I the best salesman in my
Hunger is
office
hunger, bitch.
was a woman in the copier office. There was a woman named Ida. And they go, Ida just sets appointments. They said, sit next to Ida. So you sit next to the top producer when you train. So you sit next to Ida, and this was the top producer at this and she looked at me. I'll never forget this because this just puts in perspective how fucked everybody was. She goes, "I'm doing good this year, and if I do even better, I'm gonna get a car." And I went, "Oh fuck, she's the top. She's Mount Olympus, and she doesn't have a fucking car." I said, "She doesn't have a car?" And she would get on a bus every single day, and she'd set 3 or 4 appointments, get on the bus every day, make her money, and that's what she was. She was just a, she had the gift of gab.
Now, while you were doing all this shit
Yeah.
in Staten Island,
Yeah.
and for people who don't know Staten Island, that was also,
Yeah.
you're leaving 45th Street in Manhattan
Yeah.
to take a train. Into
Yeah, well, I was
Staten
taking
Island.
in the beginning, I was taking a subway to a boat to a ferry,
Oh my God!
and then the ferry to a bus, and I would take a 40-minute bus ride down to the end of Staten Island. It was called Tottenville, which was the end of Staten Island, almost by Jersey, by the Bayonne Bridge. So I would go down there to Reliable Office Systems, where I was told that I was, and I would steal cereal. This bitch would bring in Special K red berry cereal, and I would steal a little cup of it, and I would down it, and I mean in like a minute. Down it with milk, a minute, just steal her cereal, and then go in and sit next to Ida and just pound the phone and try to set appointments. 3 months into that, I was setting enough appointments. They're like, you're good at this. You got to come to our city office, which was by Bryant Park and Madison Avenue. And Al called me. Al brought me. And Al was the head of that office from Long Island. And Al goes, you're going to come here. Now, you got to remember, doing comedy at night, and that's my main focus. So Al brings me in, and he goes, you're gonna be good at this. It's gonna be your career. He said this to me. Now, obviously, listen, anybody else would love to hear that I hated that. I hated that he said that to me as I was sitting in this office. Now, I couldn't tell him, I'm going to be a comedian. He go, yeah. He's a Long Island guy. He's like, yeah, me too. We're all going to be comedians. Shut up. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to sell these Canon copier, And that guy, he was just a good salesman. Like, he sold Canon, and all he would say is on the phone, he go, it's a good machine. Hey, it's a good machine. That was his thing. People go, it's very expensive because it's a good machine, though. It's good. Good machine. Right? Am I right? People go, yeah, I guess it is. And he was just like one of these guys. So they hired me in the city. So I started doing it in the city. And now I had no clothes. I had like a suit that didn't fit, like an ill-fitting suit. I'm 300 pounds. The suit doesn't fit. My gut's hanging out. I have like the shirt that's half in, half out. I have shoes that are basically moccasins that I'm passing off as dress shoes because I have no fucking money. And these sales guys, they don't understand that. And I'm walking in hedge funds. I'm walking in the law office. They think I'm homeless. They think the people are like, wait, whoa, the secretaries are trying to stop me. I'm like, no, I'm trying to sell you a copier. I sold a few of them, like just because I'm a fun guy. And I'd walk in and they'd be like, who's this fucking lunatic? Somebody came up to me once and go, your thing's great. You walk in like a mess. People take notice of you. I go, it's not my thing. I have no money. They go, your thing, what you do is good. You wear ridiculous shoes. Your shirt's got bird shit on it. It's great. They go, this is like a fucking thing.
They thought it was a thing.
They thought it was a thing. They're like, yeah, this is good. You're like a slob. And people, but you memorize the pamphlet. You can make people laugh. So I sold a few of these things. But the problem was now you're starting to do good. Now they're like, why don't you come out to dinner? Why don't you meet this guy? And then the problem is like, well, I got to do open mics. I'm not even on shows yet. So I got to do open mics at like 6, 7 p.m. I can't even do things at 8 or 9 p.m. yet. So eventually I quit that job because I was like, I got to get out of the sales world, which I've been in since I was 22, 21, really. I've been in sales. And then I left it when I was like 28. I just on and off, just mortgages and then copiers. I've always been in sales. And then the only job, I saw guys like on a tour bus and they were just yelling at tourists on a bus that was going through Times Square. And I was like, well, that guy can't have a boss. There can't be any background check to do that job. These tour guides in New York, they were lunatics, these people, One woman, I swear to God, would just go on and talk about a knee operation. And the people in there were trying to learn about the Empire State Building. She would hear it. She'd go, I've had 9 operations on the same foot. People would tip her at the end. It was like, she was an animal, but people felt bad for her. So they fill the tip cup up at the end. So I was like, oh, these people are also in their own way con artists, degenerates, marginalized figures from society. Some of them thought they were historians. Some of them, they were all full of shit. These guys, they barely knew anything. I was just like, I'll go up there and my whole goal was like, I'll make everybody laugh. So I would, pass a building and be like, what the fuck's going on in there? I'm like, I was like,
What were you making doing that?
15 an hour. 15 an hour, but checks, so that's bad. 40-hour work weeks, I never left with a check over $350. Okay? But cash tips every day of either no money when I was lazy and didn't want to give the tour, and a Russian woman punched me in the stomach once. Because we were sitting on the thing. It was first of all the Russians are poor. They come in January, February. They have no fucking money. They're poor. They come the coldest time of the year. And then you'd have to do a tour for one Russian couple. And the thing with Russians is they have beautiful blue eyes like huskies, but they have no souls. So when you see, because they have 100 years of atheism, so they have no soul. So there's not, so when you look in their face, you see There's nothing there. So I just sat on the bus, and this Russian woman said to me, she goes, "You give tour, you fat fuck." I said, "Listen to the automated tour." I said, "I'm not doing it today. You're the only people on the bus." She goes, I pay money. You give tour. You give tour. And I said, "No, because I could put it on the automated when I was being lazy." And the automated would be like, and the automated was supposed to be hooked up with a GPS, but it was never where it should be. So we'd be by Central Park, and they'd be like, "You are seeing the 9/11 memorial," and everybody would look out like, "Where's 9/11?" You know, they had no idea because the GPS. These companies don't care because these buses, there's no repeat business.
Right.
You just you bang them. Bill Burr has a great thing where he talks about the guys who sell tickets to these buses. They're all Africans and Haitians, and they all have deep machete scars in their faces. They make $8 or $9 grand a month, and they send that all back to Africa. I think Burr, I haven't heard of it, but Burr, somebody told me that Burr either talks about it on a podcast or does a bit about it, but they're aggressive salesmen. They'll fight each other in the street, and then once the tickets are sold, it's over. You're not going to complain about this. What, are you going to go find the office and complain about what I said or did? Who gives a shit? So if I was feeling lazy, but if I was really killing it, I could walk off the bus with $200 in cash. If I was really killing it, like pizza here, cheesecake here, here's the best steaks, here's the great sandwich, here's the best blocks to walk. You want to see mansions? You know, I could kill it if I wanted to. And then a Russian woman, you know, she had it, so she got up, and her boyfriend, this was hilarious, her boyfriend, because I guess she hit him too. He wasn't even like present. It's the thing with certain Russian people. Like he just sat there frozen like he was dead. And she got up and she goes, "You give tour," and just socked me in the stomach. Hard. You know, it's kind of demoralizing. So I had to pick up the fucking microphone now and be like, "All right, this is the Dakota where John Lennon lived, you fucking cunt," you know? And then I gave the tour for the rest of the...
What a great job was you were doing stand-up.
Yeah, I was doing stand-up on a bus.
You're basically doing fucking
I'm doing stand-up comedy on a bus all day, saying whatever the hell I want, getting some complaints, but my boss didn't care because he doesn't give a shit.
How many tours a day?
2 to 3 tours a day. It was brutal. So in the heat, it was brutal because it's a metal bus and everybody gets up there and everybody's pouring sweat and people are, because New York's not a pleasant city to visit. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's the greatest city in the world, but it's not a relaxing vacation. So you're dealing with people that are like, they're all stressed out because they got a Broadway show they got to get to. They get this, they get that. They want to see the Statue of Liberty. They want to go up in a helicopter. They want to do 9 things. All these fat people from Ohio, they want to see Central Park, but they don't want to walk through it. So they're like, what do we do? I can't walk through. So, you know, so they won't go into the subway. They think everybody's going to stab you with an AIDS needle. And I'm like, the subway is safer than up here right now, you know? Go down there. It's safer than, you know. And you deal with all those people. I would just make them laugh every day and then do spots at night. So that was the job. And then once I started getting a little bit going, I did the Montreal Comedy Festival 2016. I took the bus out. I sold tickets and did it for the New York Comedy Festival, and people bought tickets, and I just did like a crazy tour in New York and just basically said this was my fucking life. And then fans of like my podcast and shit got to sit on the bus and see what I used to do, and it was hilarious, you know, because I would talk about like human trafficking and drugs and you know, my roommates and, you know, everybody on Broadway. They go, "Oh, it must be amazing to be on Broadway." I said, these people are all one broken ankle away from living on the street. Then you see a college, like a high school theater group would come and their faces would go down. I said, they don't make any money. I said, I know the woman at Phantom of the Opera. She drinks soup out of a cup and stares at the rain in the food emporium. I said, every day she wants to put a gun in her mouth. I said, so let me tell you, I said, and if she falls and sprains her ankle, she's going to be living in the street, and she's going to have to go to the suburbs and fuck her way into the middle class, and then she's going to have to work at your school, which I thought was funny. But one of the kids started crying. But I'm like, this is what it is. This is what life is. And that was like my tour, and that wasn't for everybody. You know what I would do too, because the apartments in New York City are so expensive, I'd try to make everybody on the bus feel kind of bad. I just point at the buildings and I go 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 35, 40 million. And everybody would just get beaten down. You know, by the end of the day, they realized that they were fucked. They were like, God, the system's rigged. We're all shot, you know? And then every now and then, one of these fat broads would try to, like, even the scale. She'd go, but they don't even have central air in those buildings. They have wall unit air conditioners. And I go, but they do have central air in their Hamptons estates. They take helicopters and land in them because they don't want to be in traffic. Many of them are 20, 30,000 square feet. And she would go, ha. And it was basically me going, like, I know you're trying to get one up on me, but not today, pig. Not today. And I would just make them feel, I want their spirits broken by the time they left the bus. I wanted them to realize that they had failed and there was nothing that they could do.
They fucked up.
They fucked up.
They should have gone to
They're
fucking
shot.
Disneyland.
They should have did, you know, that this is, you can't understand this. Because New York is a city that requires both less and more explanation than any other place on the planet. Less explanation, meaning you get kind of what it is immediately, but more explanation, because I'm going to point to a building, I'm going to tell you the average price is $26 million. And you're going to say, who the fuck lives there? And I'm going to say, Louise Crane lives there. Her family owns the paper that we print our money on. You didn't even know that was a thing. She owns fucking money. You don't even know what, and people's minds would melt. You know? And that's the type of shit I do. And I go, and next to her is a Russian fertilizer magnet. And next to him is a Chinese amusement park tycoon. And then the rest is Jews. But here's the way. and I would just do that. And then some people would love it. Some people get off the bus and go, man, I took 2 of these buses and these motherfuckers are talking about, like, you know, nothing. They're talking about nothing that's ever affected, you know, they're talking about this where George Washington was, and here's where the redcoats, and then they go, you get on here and you're talking about real shit that's actually happening, and they're like, this is interesting, you know, I want to know what's going on. So some people like to be, like one of those moments for me, I was Santa Claus in like Harlem, and I was getting shit on all day by like 4-year-old kids.
And you can say black
me.
kids.
Yeah, well, some of them were Dominican, but they were just roasting me, just shamelessly none of them were happy to see Santa. These are hardened little kids. They're like, fuck you, you fat fuck. I'm like, I'm Santa, you know? Yeah. And I would jingle the bell, and then every now and then some drunk would like dance with me. And I was like, this is a rough, I hope comedy works out.
Oh my God, bro. You got to play Santa more often, dude. I would love to watch the small black kids attack you.
They just roasted me. They were brutal. And here's the other thing. I wasn't just Santa. I was selling Obamacare. Because the thing was that you was a healthcare truck.
Oh, Santa's got a fucking gimmick.
And you would have to like get them with they'd be like, oh, there's Santa. And then you get the kids in, then you grab their parents and be like.
That's called a bait and switch.
It's a bait and switch big time. Then you grab their parents and be like, listen, you're going to have a high deductible, but it doesn't matter. Just declare bankruptcy. You don't have to give them a fake name anymore. You know, and you'd have to explain to the kids, you know, like this is a present that you're not going to realize the importance of now.
Yeah.
So it was a dark time. I had fun with it though. You have fun with it. I was younger. I was doing comedy.
My life's shitty. Your life's been a real piece of shit.
It's been something.
Okay.
You know, I never slept in a ball pit, but I'm not against it. Like I'm not opposed to sleeping in a ball pit.
Dead in the streets.
So
Who cares?
So if I come to you right now, let's go back. You're a mortgage broker in Long Island. I meet you in a diner, which is you call your office.
The Imperial Diner in Freeport,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, you go-
We got to make it real.
Yeah.
So it's the Imperial Diner in Freeport on Merrick Road.
Yeah, you say meet me at the office, and I hear you
Where
hang up.
we'll spill hot coffee on you by mistake and look at you and go.
Yeah. And when you tell me to meet you at your office, I hear the clang of a payphone when you hang up.
Yeah.
And so I meet you at your office. I come in. I say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Mr. Dillon. Me and my wife just got married. You know, I'm a comedian. I saved up about $80K. You know, she wants to live. We're having a baby.
Here's
she
your
wants to
Mr.
live on the
Pappas.
island.
Mr. Pop, I'm very glad.
Can I get a loan?
Not only can you get a loan, but let me tell you something.
Yeah.
How much of that $80K are you prepared to spend on the property?
I don't know, Mr. Dillon. You know, I'm a pretty conservative guy. I saved every single dollar from my more recent shows.
How much are you prepared to spend?
Hold on, let me go into Maurice's brain.
No. Of that $80,000, how much would you like to spend? Are you willing to spend all of it?
I'm willing to spend about 60 or 70 of it.
Mr. Pappas, guess how much of that 80 you're gonna have to spend?
How much?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. You're not gonna spend anything because let me explain something to you. Sit down. The wife is lovely. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. Wait, can
Mr.
I get
Pappas.
Can I get pancakes while I'm here?
Yeah, you can get anything. The bricks and sticks of your house.
Yeah.
Appreciate. The frame, the land. They appreciate and value. You know what your money does in your house for you, Mr. Pappas? It does absolutely nothing. You know what the wealthiest people do with real estate, Mr. Pappas? A lot of them finance it. Why? Because your mortgage is your only tax write-off. It is the only write-off. It is your only fucking weapon against the federal government. The larger the loan you take, the better it is for you financially. And you take that $80,000, and I'm not wrong, by the way, and you put, well, I'm a little, and you put it in tax-exempt securities like Roth IRAs. Mr. Pappas, you maximize the amount of tax-exempt retirement accounts that you put your money in with that $80,000. You make it work for you. You do not sink it into a house. Yes or yes? So the reality is this. We're taking the biggest loan possible. Debt, Mr. Pappas, will set you free. Now sign this piece of paper for Christ. And at that point, you and your wife are crying.
Yeah.
And then we sign papers, then you go die.
But how do you get the loan from the bank? They're giving them away.
Back in the day, what are we doing? We're talking about now or back in the day?
No, back in the day.
Yeah,
Back in the day, I go to the bank. I said, Kelly, we got one. And Kelly, I said, Mr. Pappas and his wife Brittany's from Long Island. They want to go buy a piece of marble hunk of shit. And Kelly has got Coke running down her nose from last night. She's got a fucking double tall non-fat latte from Starbucks non-fat. She's not kidding anyone. And she nails it down and she says, she makes all the paperwork look like it should look. And then my little shitty bank, which was called Franklin First or New World Mortgage or the Mortgage Zone or the Funding Hut or whatever it is, we send our paper to a fucking even bigger and as similarly shitty bank like a Long Beach Mortgage or a New Century Mortgage or an Argent. And those banks were doing backdoor deals with JP Morgan, Citigroup. So those banks were underwriting the paper to the middle grade banks that were lending money to the dirtbag brokerage operating out of a van places that I worked. Okay?
Right.
So when this all, you ever played a game of hot potato?
Yeah, it's an orgy, yeah.
So when everything goes wrong,
You pass it around.
we're passing it around.
Yeah.
And then by the time you sign your mortgage, by the time you get your first bill, because the other benefit, Mr. Pop, is you don't pay for 2 months.
Right.
For 2 months, you don't pay.
But
That's
are you
too-
sure I'm going to be able to afford this mortgage? My stand-up comedy career is up and down.
Mr. Pappas, I have watched your stuff. I think you're a genius.
Thank you.
And I think you're an absolute genius. And I will tell you this right now. All you have to worry about right now is what are you going to do with
I'm
those
just a
two-
little worried. I'm not past the cellar. Am I going to have a future?
You're going to have a cellar in the home that we put you in. All you have to worry about, Mr. Pop, is what are you going to do with those 2 free months? Because we're rolling it into the mortgage. You've got 60 days. I would take a little vacation with this lovely lady.
Are you serious?
2
Because I was concerned I even had enough for the mortgage before this.
2 free months.
What?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you're saying free. Am I going to have to pay at some point for this down the line?
We're rolling it into the mortgage, which again, we talked about, it just increases your tax deduction. If you could, Mr. Pappas, you'd take a loan every day.
Honey, do you think... I mean,
Every day you would take a loan because the federal government is coming to take your hard-earned money. I am telling you, your ability to fight them is contingent on how big this mortgage is. Take all your credit card debt, all your car loans, everything, student loans, roll it into this, refinance it. Let's take $100,000, $200,000. Let's do it. Let's make it big.
And
Let's do it once and do it right. That's a great line. That's a line one of our guys had. Let's do it once and do it right. And then he'd call them back 8 months later, and they'd go, you said we were going to do it once and do it right. He goes, let's do it twice and do it better. But that's what we need. That's the only way the economy's get. Like, you guys can laugh at that. That's the only way the economy is going to get.
on a bubble. On a...
Retards have to sell things to other retards.
Now, I bet you were a fucking savage. What did you do? Subprime mortgage seller?
I sold subprime mortgages because I believe in people and their ability to own homes. That's number one. And I was stopped from doing that by a totalitarian government who does not believe in people the way that I do.
So,
Sorry.
would you tell people who are like, I don't know if I can afford this? You were like, dude.
By the way,
I'm looking at the
America
books.
is a country of thieves and criminals.
Yeah.
No one said I don't think I can afford. I love.
true.
By the way, I love that. That's such an innocent, great way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's someone on the phone where I'm like, "Hey, we could get you $300,000 Thursday," and they go like this. I don't know if I can afford it. No, it's America.
No.
Everyone's a dirtbag.
They're like, I can.
They're like, can we get it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Can we get it Wednesday?
Can I make it 500?
morning? Yeah. So it's actually not. I mean, I'm sure the predatory lending went on, things like that went
Yeah.
on, but the majority of people that I worked with were selfish, scoundrels
Yeah.
that wanted money.
Were you ever?
I gave them money.
Did you ever
I bought
get
a subprime mortgage. I bought a house with a subprime mortgage.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you ever get to the did you ever have somebody, whatever, who's I don't know the ins and outs of it, but applying and you looked at their stuff and you're like, there's no way we can give this guy anything.
Well, the worst one we had was a guy who was clearly like had dementia or didn't know where he was, and his son wanted to open up a strip club in Miami, and his son just took all the money out of his house, and we were sitting at the closing, and we're signing papers, and this old guy's like struggling to sign papers, and his son is like, "Keep signing, Daddy, it's almost over." And the closing attorney said, "I'm not really comfortable with this," and I'm like, "Yeah, it ain't great, but you know." I mean, at that point, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to the Vasquezes. Then I was an actor, and she was committed to that. From when I was like probably 7, I started acting, and I acted till I was about 12. And she really tried. And we went, and
Did you like it?
I did. I just never had that big break where it was like, this changes your life.
Yeah.
And me and her went on a tour for like 4 months with this touring musical, Annie Get Your Gun. And we would be on the tour bus every night, and then we toured with the whole production. And then, they put me in an Amstel Light shirt. What's better than that? She was with me for that.
Yeah.
And then I started doing drugs, and she went insane. So we went our separate ways, but I still love her. She went a little nutty. And I just, at 12 years old, 13 years old, I started using cocaine and smoking weed. Obviously weed first. I'm not nuts.
Yeah.
But weed and blow and some Vicodin. And my
she
friend's
did drugs
mother
too?
was a hooker and sold us drugs, and we loved her.
Whoa.
She's in the book. We love them all.
Did your mom do drugs too?
Never. She did over-the-counter drugs. She would take Sudafed, and she would drink like Prevental cough syrup and Tab. She loved Tab soda and Prevental cough syrup and like Sudafed, and like she loves an over-the-counter cocktail to just keep her going.
Yeah.
Now, you know that I do this. A lot of the audience don't know that I do. I do fake business. I call up realtors all day when I'm bored, and I pretend I'm a realtor and that my client is very interested in their property, and I ask them lots of questions about their property. I just did it with a commercial property on Palm Canyon Drive. I said, "Hey, this is Tim. I have a client of investor that's really interested in the property. What are we looking at per square foot, and what are some of the local restrictions we should know about?" And, these whole things, they go into this whole thing. They go, well, they don't want a coffee shop in there because Starbucks, there's a competing business clause, so Starbucks doesn't want a coffee shop. This is how the corporate takeover of America is, by the way, because when Starbucks moves into an area, they go, we don't want some independent coffee shop opening. Not all areas, but a lot of them. We don't need somebody slinging lattes for less than we are. So the guy goes, well, there's a Sprint store, so we can't do a competing business, blah, blah, blah. And we talked about it. There's a lot of parking behind. I said, thank you. I said, I have an investor, but he's very concerned about, the competing business clause and everything like that. And I was on the phone with this guy for about 10 minutes. And he said to me, "Oh, Tim, that's cruel. Their time has value." No, it doesn't. And I will continue to do fake business because I like doing fake business. It's one of my favorite things to do. I like to call people, and I like to lie about who I am and what I do. And then I like to see how they conduct business, because on their end, they're conducting real business. I'm conducting fake business. Now, never the two shall meet. We've gotten to the point where one of my clients who doesn't exist was almost going to put an offer on a house. This was last week. I've been on the phone with this realtor for like 45 minutes, 3 times in a row. I've had to block her finally. She doesn't know what happened. Sometimes I have to block the people because fake business gets very intense. Fake business, people start drawing up contracts. I mean, she was calling appraisers. She was going to have inspections done. I was representing a very motivated overseas client. Now, sadly, that client died of coronavirus before we could go see the property. That's not my fault. And I tried to explain that to her, but she was kind of confused and started saying, "Oh, this, blah, blah, blah. Are you real? Is this real? Cops, FBI, whatever, blah, blah, blah." Blocked. I'm helping train these professionals. Do you understand? Yes or yes? By calling them, people need practice. So this schmuck over there on Palm Canyon, I did use my real name, by the way. Like, this is Tim Dillon. And sometimes I make up a firm name. Sometimes I use a real firm name. Sometimes I just say, "This is Tim Dillon with Futures." He goes, "What?" And I go, "Futures investment." And he goes, "Okay." You just go, "Okay." You go, "Yeah, all right." I go, "Yeah, you got a commercial listing on Palm Canyon on the corner. I'm wondering what we're looking at price per square foot. What's the parking in the area like? What's the competing business clause? Well, any local restrictions we should know about? I have a team of investors that are looking to expand into this area. Many of them, sometimes it's a franchise, sometimes not. But I'm just, it's an investment group. They're very interested. They love the visibility of the location. Oh, he goes, it's a great location. So they love the visibility of the location. And see, right there, we're beginning to do fake business. Because then he goes to his wife and he goes, hey, I just got a call from a guy that may be interested in this. And then he tells his secretary, and then he tells his partner. So I'm in, and I'll give him a follow-up call later tonight. I'll have 10 more bullet point questions before I bring my investors. And I do this. Now, a lot of people, I was explaining to someone at dinner that I do this, and they go, that's horrible. I said, why? I'm doing fake business. They go, why? I said, I like doing it. Because I don't have a real estate license and I can't do real business, but I at least can do fake business. They said, that's pretty sick. I said, maybe you're sick because I want realtors to get the best professional. You golf a lot, right? Mm-hmm. When you golf every day, are you better at it?
Yes, absolutely.
Now that doesn't now even that includes going to a driving range.
Sure.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Sometimes I see golfers swing clubs in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Helps. Doesn't matter if it's real or fake. What matters is that this guy's going through the next guy to call him might be real. But I'm going to beat that guy out. I'm going to do a competitive offer because I conduct fake business well. And many people don't. A lot of people do things. People go on fake diets. I've done a ton of them. People do all kinds of things that aren't real. People are fake comedians. Mm-hmm. They pretend to be a comedian for a decade and impoverish themselves and live on a floor and walk dogs. Fine. That's all. When you go home to your family for Thanksgiving and you go, I'm a comedian, they're eating and they're like, no, you're not. You're a pretend comedian. You're a fake comedian. Right. I am a fake real estate investor. Let me call this guy back. How do we get him in the Roadcaster? Is he in the Roadcaster?
Hello?
Hey, Adam, Tim Dillon, how are you? We spoke about the property on Palm Canyon a few minutes ago.
Yeah, hey, Tim. How's it going?
Good, buddy. How are you? I wanted to know if there's a list of the competing clause. My client's asking me if there's a list of businesses, whether it's Starbucks, Sprint, things like that, that we could kind of figure out what the restrictions are, just so I could kind of email that to them because he wants to show it to his investors, if that's possible. Also, is there a way they can get out to see the property maybe later in the week?
Yeah. I live about 4 minutes from it, so not too difficult. I will just go to the center right now and send you a quick list of all of the businesses that are in there already.
I would appreciate that. Let me ask you a question too. How long has this property been on the market? I haven't looked it up yet.
Yeah, I've been marketing it for maybe, I think I just signed it like right when COVID hit, and then I delayed it for like 2 or 3 months. So I'd say maybe like 2 or 3 months now. Okay, and before you had it, was it sitting there for a while or no? They always like to know these things. Yeah, I know Banner Mattress was there up until recently.
Okay.
I know there's a mattress firm like right across the street.
Yeah, I saw that. Would this be a 5-year lease or what are they looking for in terms of commitment?
Yeah, it really just depends on the tenant and the rate and things like that. Obviously, the longer the commitment, the better we can do on the rate. I think they're open right now.
Okay, and I imagine they're
minimum 5 years.
I imagine they're open to some form of negotiation at given the climate.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
We're here to do deals.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, me too. It's a little wild out there, Are you guys mainly commercial? Or you do any residential?
I do a bit of both.
Okay, good. Yeah,
you got to be kind of a generalist out here. So.
I agree. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to get interested in this area, and I think it's because LA's had a lot of problems, and a lot of my clients. I do business primarily in Los Angeles, and a lot of people are starting to look at this area, and a lot of them are excited about maybe jumping into something here, you know, because the high season, I imagine it's what, January through June?
Yeah, January through April is our high season.
Right.
But pretty much like right now, like September through April, you know, so we kind of have like a shoulder mid-season,
Right.
which is September through December.
Right.
And then January through April just crushes, and then Coachella is obviously in Stagecoach are in April, and that kind of, you know, and we have Memorial Day weekend, July 4th, even during the summer, we do pretty well.
Of course,
So,
I appreciate that. Well, listen, I have you guys. I have your website. I'm going to shoot you an email, just again introducing myself, and then if you could just get me a list of some of those competing business clauses, just so I can show it to them, and hopefully they'll get out to see it sometime next week. You know, they're super interested. One of them lives out here in Rancho, and they pass it all the time. So they had me just kind of reach out to you and see what was going on. But they're pretty motivated. And again, I think it's all about, you know, how restrictive those clauses are.
yeah, I think they're going to be pretty flexible. So I'll shoot you the businesses.
Yes.
And we'll see if we can do something, okay?
I appreciate it, Adam. Thanks a lot for your time.
All right, thank you.
So it's fake business, and I'm doing it well. I'm doing it well. Let's be honest. I'm doing it well. I'm protecting the interests of my clients.